Welcome to Spenelli Speaks. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Danny here. I am finally doing this tag. Now, I specifically waited to do this tag until it was my birthday month, and now it's my birthday month, so I can do this tag. This is the You Ain't Getting Any Younger book tag that was originated by Crypto and Una over at the Codex Cantina. This was the very first moment that I even knew who they were, because Casey over at Lost in a Bookcase tagged me in this tag, and I always go back and look at the creators of tags, and I was like, I don't even know who she's talking about. Now I do, of course. I talked to Una on the channel very much. Crypto and Una do a fantastic job of really breaking down classic literature and even new age literature and just talking about it in its core, which I think is a lot of what BookTube is missing. So many of us are doing tags and the hauls, and yes, I do those things. I love them. They are so much fun and people love them. But when it gets down to the nitty-gritty, I love watching a good book review. So I'm very thankful that they are on BookTube and are able to offer such awesome content for all of us. So I am finally doing their tag. I, again, was tagged over by Casey at Lost in a Bookcase, so definitely check out her channel as well. She's such a good friend. I love watching her content. She's always watching mine, I'm always watching hers, and we always kind of poke fun at one another, which is super fun as well. So enough about me. If you are new to my channel, hi, I'm Danny. It's nice to meet you. I'm super weird, and I collect books, and I read books, and I talk about books, and now I'm doing a tag. If you've been here since the beginning and the middle, then you know exactly what to expect from me. Okay, so on to the first question. Now, all of these questions are like mimicking birthday cards, like those silly birthday cards. They call them raunchy adult birthday card sayings. So they are a little bit unique. Let's go on to the first question. So, while it's proven too many birthdays can kill you, the amount of cake we can eat is still under debate. Name the most recent book that gave you a sugar or book high. You know, Cress, which is the third book in the Lunar Chronicles. I would like sit in my car until the very last second of getting into work to listen. I was listening to it on the audiobook, and I just like, oh my gosh, it's just so good. You just can't get enough of it. And I still think about certain moments from the book, and it's just so good. I'm just getting into the fourth one, and I can't wait to hear how it goes. But also, I'm really sad to like have it be done, because it's such a good series. So, on to the second question. Sometimes we get older and wider instead of older and wiser. Name the longest book you've ever read. Wow. Well, I think like right now I'm currently reading that London book by Edward Rutherford. This is like 1,100 pages long, so this is probably the longest book I've ever read, past like, the Harry Potter books, and when they start to get a little bit longer. The Twilight books are pretty long as well. I know I read all of the Narnia together, but those are all separate books. But yeah, so I guess it would be London for sure, because I can't think of anything else. Number 3, the best part about pictures is that they're always a younger version of you. Name a book that you enjoyed more the first time you read it than the second. If you've never reread, why not? I mean, I have reread books, but I can't even think about ones that I have reread right now that then I like them the second time more. I can tell you that the second time I read The Help, I liked it less. So I'm gonna flip that question. I read The Help. by Catherine Stockett, whatever. I don't do authors. And I read it again for my book club, and I didn't like it as much as the first time. Like, the first time I was reading it, I was like, this is amazing. And then the second time I read it, I was like, seems like not the right perspective this book should have been written in. So, yeah, I'm going to answer it that way. Okay, number 4. As you get older, you must learn to never skip a bathroom break before jumping in a car ride. Oh my gosh. Name a book you read in very few sittings. Have you ever walked into the bathroom holding the book and then blindly fumbled for the door handle? I'm sure when I was younger and I was reading the Harry Potter series, which I feel like such an arse even talking about those books right now, but whatever. 'Tis neither here nor there. But recently, I mean, I think I'm old enough to realize when you need to put a book down, Una. So I think that realistically, in the fewest sittings, I would say probably, gosh, what have I read recently that I couldn't put down? You know what? Well, actually, during Dewey's readathon, I read What Alice Forgot all in one day. It was like literally, I read it within that readathon. I finished a few books in there, but that one I actually started and ended. So technically, to answer your question, that is the book that I did. I didn't mean to. It wasn't like, oh, I need to sit. I was just because it was for the readathon. So yeah, What Alice Forgot. And then actually most recently, The Home for Unwanted Girls by Joanna Goodman. That was that book that I read, what was it, 2 months ago or a month ago, about the orphans in Canada. That I read pretty quickly. I would probably say in 3 sittings. I was like, that book was just so enthralling. I could not stop reading it. It was so unbelievably good. So that I would say I would include in that list as well. I think we're on number 5. Don't let old age get you down, because it's harder to get back up these days. You know what really is hard? I remember when I was younger, I would just like jump up on the counter to get up to the highest the highest cupboard to like grab that sneaky little Twinkie that's up there that my mom hid. And now, I climb up on the counter to try to get something up there that I've hid myself, and my knees hurt because the counter's hard. And then by the time I need to turn around and get down, I'm like, well, how am I gonna get down? Because if I jump, it's gonna hurt. And like, so now what? So then I gotta like try to slide down the cabinet, and it's just like, get a footstool, Danny. I mean, oh Jesus. What was the question? Name a book you had to put down and why. Ooh, again, I mentioned this in another video, and you guys aren't gonna like me for this, but I had to totally Not For Now. So NFN, Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. I'm sorry. It's not my cup of tea. I feel like I'm totally like missing the boat on why this is so great, and I think it's because I should not have started with that particular book. I think I should have started in the Mistborn section of Brandon Sanderson stuff and then worked my way up to this, massive, amazing. I mean, don't get me wrong, the writing that I've read so far is great, but I just feel completely lost. So again, I'm not going to DNF it. I'm just putting it down for right now, and I will come back to it and I will tell you all about it. But right now I need to just take a breather from that book. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. Number 6. Age isn't how long you've been alive, it's how many lives you've lived. Oh, that's interesting. What book genres have you been wanting to try outside of your comfort zone? I am not huge into nonfiction, and I have been trying really hard to get into nonfiction. I consider myself a lifetime learner, and I think I have to remember like that is part of the learning process. I don't have to necessarily be in a classroom to learn something. I could also, you know, look into different avenues in the nonfiction world and learn a lot about other people's worlds, learn a lot about, you know, things that affect us on a daily basis. So I really want to get more into nonfiction. I would say I probably read maybe 2 or 3 nonfiction a year. I would like to read at least 1 nonfiction a month, because there are so many amazing stories out there, and I just feel like I'm kind of missing out on that. I would say, you know, there are other book genres like science fiction and high fantasy and horror that I could get into, but I really don't want to. Like high fantasy is the probably only one that I would definitely get into because I do like fantasy writing. It's just like, how do I make sure that I get it? But like horror and sci-fi is just like, I don't like it, especially horror. Like, I do not like horror. I like thriller, like suspenseful things, but anytime they start talking about blood and guts and like really gruesome things, then I'm like, peace. So, number 7. Life gets worse the older you get. Luckily, you don't have much left. Where did you find these? Name a book that slowly turned sour for you, but you finished anyways. Were you glad you stuck it out? Little Bee. Yeah, immediately came to mind. That was a buddy read I did with another booktuber last month, I think it was. And it like turned sour for me like, I'd say 40% in. And I was so angry. I just was like so mad at the book, and I finished it anyways because I thought maybe it would get better. It was so critically acclaimed, and everything on the back of the book like preached how awesome it was and how it just, you know, the ending was the best, and it didn't. It was not. That's all I have to say. Now, other people probably feel differently, but I don't. I was so PO'd about that book that, no. 8. Peer pressure. Peer pressure seems to decrease as you get older. Where did all your friends go? Well, you're right here. Anywho, name a book that you checked out because of peer pressure. Were you happy to have tried it? You know, I don't think I would call anything peer pressure. I don't really get peer pressured into reading books because I'm usually the one peer pressuring people. And what a weird way to say that, a peer pressure. Peer pressure, peer pressure. Sounds like something you would say when you're a kid. These are my peers and I'm going to pressure them into reading a book. Anywho, you know, I wouldn't call it peer pressured, but I was told that Divergent was going to be a really good book, and I didn't like it at all. I thought it was dumb, and I thought the movie was even worse. So I did not continue in that series because I was like, this is a poor man's Hunger Games, and you don't need to be ruining Hunger Games for me. So, there's a lot of tongue sticking outing in this video. Wrap it up, Danny. Wrap it up. Okay, so number 9, friends don't let friends get older alone. Tag people. You know, I would love to tag people, but this has been going around for so many months now. I mean, they did this back in April. So I think that I will just say this. If you have a birthday coming up, or if you say that you want to do this, or you are like, yeah, that looks like a cool tag, just do it. Consider yourself tagged. You do not have to skip a tag because you're not tagged in a tag. Just tag yourself. Tag, you're it. So have fun. It's a fun tag. And it doesn't make you feel older or accuse you of being old. It's just fun. So thank you to Crypto and Una for creating such an amazing tag. And thank you, Casey, for tagging me. And I apologize for all of you who thought you were going to be tagged in this video. But I don't know. You probably already did it already. So if you haven't and you're like, Danny, I wanted to be tagged. Tag, you're it. So until next time, guys, I hope you're reading something great and taking care, staying safe. And until next time, you know how it goes. Happy reading. Bye.